And we're back. So this time is the before and after for Anarchist from the Colony. It is from Dragons and Tigers. Gateway genre as a South Korean film. I got the thing with me. So for once, it's like I'm informed, people. So it's directed by Lee Joon-ik. And it's like a South Korean Japanese thing. It's 2 hours. And it's pretty late, so it's like pretty dead here. Like there's hardly anyone down there. I don't know. But anyways, basically, I was intrigued with the whole premise of the movie, where it's just basically about the 1923 massacre, and then the subsequent like disinformation campaign perpetrated by occupying Japanese forces. And then from what I read, it's just that it's not a very like, oh, let's crap on the Japanese type of film, but rather just a more focus on the Koreans and how they try to keep up their spirits type of thing. Maybe I should just read the synopsis. So basically, in the wake of a 1923 massacre and subsequent disinformation campaign perpetrated by occupying Japanese forces, Korean anarchist activist Park Yeol, played by Lee Ju-hoon, and his compatriots schemed to assassinate Crown Prince Hee-seo, taking cues from its anti-authoritarian, anti-hero director Lee Joon-ik thumbs his nose at stodgy period drama trappings instead of delivering an explosive call to arms that strikes a chord in the current era in which tyrants threatens to run amok. So that's pretty intense. I watched the trailer. It's actually a lot less serious than the description, so I do look forward to that. And plus, online, it talks about how this actually isn't a very well-known part of Japan and Korea's history, so I definitely, hopefully, that it's going to be another great addition to the genre, because, I mean, Battleship Island was great, Taxi Driver was great. Now hopefully this will be one too. And granted, I don't know anyone in the cast, so that's always a plus. But there's one thing that I did notice was that the Korean wife, she's supposed to be Japanese, but she's played by a Korean, so I don't know how that flies with me. I wish they cast a Japanese person, but I guess the whole Japanese speaking Korean thing is a lot harder than Korean speaking Japanese, because I think that's how it goes. A lot more Korean speaks more multi-languages than other races speak other languages, so whatever. I mean, it looks fun, it looks intense, so definitely looking forward to it. And I'm like second in line, so that's always awesome. So yeah, that's it. This is before and this is after. So that's it. Wow, I think this is the most Japanese I've seen in the Korean movie. The mall's pretty much closed, so it's super dark, so no black, dark. But anyways, yeah. First off, casting was great. I mean, storyline, it's pretty much like a trial case. Did not expect that. Cast chemistry is great. Cast charisma was great. The guy that played Mizune, Kim In-woo, I actually thought he was Japanese, but he ain't. So he's a Korean. That was pretty intense, and I really enjoyed his acting. He was just playing that Minister of Interior, and he was just pretty gung-ho about like getting them killed. And Park was great. I mean, the whole just balancing of the Japanese and Koreanness of it. Choi, from what it looks like this is her first film. That's a really amazing. Really hope that she'll get snatch right up and just get more roles in anything. Really great expressions and just real great presence. Granted, I feel that the side characters, like his posse, could have been more sort of fleshed out, because there were some roles that feel like they were going to be fleshed out, but they didn't. But overall, it's like a pretty intense movie in terms of social commentary wise, like just the whole deism of just the emperor and the prince, and just whole Korean and the Korean slavery and just how they got treated and all that stuff. So it's like social commentary pretty heavy, but I really enjoyed it regardless. I mean, so props for like the director. I haven't seen any of his other stuff, but he has done more period pieces, so I would definitely check those out. And just the whole balancing issue of just directing Japanese lines versus Korean lines, that's pretty interesting for sure, so props on that. I mean, cinematically, it's a lot of just talking, but I think like all the actors, or the main leads anyways, were very just engaging and just really fun to watch, so that was it. I mean, if they were like deadpan and it was shot like this, it would have been pretty boring to watch. But granted, I need to get out of here because they're gonna lock the parking lot. But yeah, it was interesting and fun, and definitely on the lookout for the main characters. I forgot his name, but he was pretty fun, and I think if he did a full-on comedy, I think I would dig it. Same thing for Choi, if she ever comes back. She probably should. She needs to come back. And yeah, I mean, also the attorney that helped him, he was pretty fun to watch as well. The whole socialness of like the race, about how he's Korean, but he refuses to speak Korean until when he's very aspirated. That was just fun. So yeah, overall, it's like this weird film where it's like this lightheartedness, but like the subject matter is really deep about like death sentence and just treason and all that stuff. So it's like really great props for the writers and just the director to have that balance of how it's not super over the top comedy. I mean, it's not comedy. I mean, is it a comedy? I think it's a drama comedy, but it's so dark in terms of like dire circumstances of like, hey, we're gonna kill you for treason because you. And that's not even that. It was like a cover-up for the massacre of like 6,000 Koreans during that earthquake. So it's like real-life stuff and props on just bringing this story up to the forefront of just people. I mean, now that we know what happened during 23, like the massacre, I think the fact that it became a movie, more and more people will know what happened. I'm sorry for the Japanese because they just did a lot of crap stuff. I mean, Battleship Island, that was that, and now this. It's just like, what are the people going to do to like so compensate of? Are they going to compensate? Oh, Battleship Island, I was going to make that island like sort of a heritage place. But what are you going to do for this 23 and March 1st? Like, pretty heavy stuff. I wonder if the Japanese are ever doing any movies just like make themselves look a bit better, like try to help. I don't know. Anyways, it's always kind of iffy when you have movies like this. But clearly, like the Japanese were in the wrong in those times. But this movie is not about just like the typical Japanese person. Rather, it's like about just the authoritative of it and just the laws and rules and just how the emperor and the prince were gods. So that was pretty messed up, and everyone knows that now because they ain't gods, because World War II happened and Japanese people found out. So anyway, pretty much talking. Don't want to get locked in here. So that's it. This is one last thing I have to bring up is just the whole fact that Choi speaks broken, sort of grammatically wrong Korean, and she speaks perfect English. So that was kind of a really fun take on the whole language barrier thing. And I love how she pronounced park, because it's definitely how Japanese people would pronounce it and not how Koreans pronounce it. Like the whole thing in the beginning with her pronouncing his name, that was hilarious. It was just fun. So that's it. This is the before and after for Anarchists from Colony. Later.